Good Thursday morning. We start with this scene of the Chetco bar fire, now one of the biggest fires burning in the country. It's right here in Oregon on the coast near Brookings. The governor is sending 125 National Guard members there to fight the flames there today. And that picture from a drone, I mean, it makes it appear as if the sky is on fire. And this is just one of dozens of fires burning across the state. So we wanted to bring in Tracy Weaver from the U.S. Forest Service Public Affairs Office to give us an idea of what we need to know about these fires, especially, Tracy, if you have plans for the weekend.
Right, we do have a lot of large fires burning in Oregon right now on our national forests, and the basic message we give folks is to know before you go. So if you plan on going out to recreate, know not just whether or not there are fire restrictions in place, which there are, but also what areas are closed. We have a lot of closures in place for public safety, from the Mount Hood all the way down to the Rogue River Siskiyou.
Did they look at visibility as a factor? Because, you know, one camera we have that we've looked at a lot the last couple of weeks is the Forest Service camera down at Crater Lake, which at times, if you didn't know there was a lake and a Wizard Island there, you wouldn't know it.
Right.
So, I mean, is that a factor? Sometimes it can close the road. They just go, wow, it's too smoky, you can't see anything.
It definitely is. When you have smoke impacts on the road, we advise people to go slow, use their headlights, and understand that there will be road closures due to that. Also, when the fires are burning near roads, we have rollout, you know, logs will roll down or rocks will roll down, trees will fall across the road. We actually had a civilian vehicle hit with a tree down on the Chetco bar the other day with an injury, just from fire weakened trees in the wind.
And what is the latest with the Chetco bar? I mean, we've been talking a lot about how it's basically the #1 priority in the country right now, but what's the latest on that?
So the Chetco bar fire is 102,000 acres.
Wow.
It basically, burning along that Chetco River, you get what's called the Chetco effect, and that just funnels wind like you wouldn't believe. So even they had strong winds over the weekend, and then funneling down that river, it made that fire go from 31,000 acres to 90,000 acres
that,
in 24 hours.
Brookings too.
Wow.
We should.
We've been seeing video here of a woman, the family lost a home of 20 years that they've been in. What is the situation now? Are there evacuations, homes threatened still?
There are still evacuations in place. Several of the level 3 evacuations were dropped down to level 2, which is basically be prepared to go at a moment's notice. The weather's been more favorable for the last couple of days, and firefighters have made some significant progress. But when the fire blew up the other day, it crossed every contingency line we had in place, which they had been putting several in place for days, or for a month.
I'm sure you know the forecast calling for the hot weather to return somewhat over the weekend and going into next week. I mean, there's real danger these fires could pop again. Is that?
There is, and
Yeah.
we're seeing some activity in some fires that have been around for a while. The Indian Creek fire being one of those, that's burning on the Mount Hood National Forest near the gorge. That fire is now 325 acres and still burning. It started way down deep in a canyon with 75% slope, so we couldn't put firefighters down in there. And so they pulled out. They've been running helicopter drops using a super scooper, which is a big CL-415 airplane, dropping water on it, but it's coming up out of there a little bit now as well.
The Millie fire is the other one we've been talking a
Right.
lot about near Sisters. A lot of people vacation, drive to that area, might be
Right.
heading this weekend. What do you want people to know about that particular fire?
They also made some good progress on the Millie fire over the last couple of days. They were using firing operations to broaden the fire break along the 242 highway. And so they completed that last night. They still have level 2 evacuation notices in effect for the Black Butte area and some other areas around there. But they are making progress. They're just trying to make sure the fire doesn't come up and hook around and escape their containment lines.
So Tracy, if you had plans to go to Black Butte over the weekend, would you go?
You know, I would know before I go. I would look on the website for the Deschutes National Forest and see what is in effect there as far as closures or evacuation notices. I probably would not want to go recreate where there was an active fire nearby because I wouldn't want to get caught out in that area.
Well, just the smoke can kind of ruin the party, so to speak. I mean, you hear people tell those stories. We went, but it was so smoky, we just couldn't be outdoors having the fun that we wanted to have. I know one good piece of news. Nobody started a fire during our big eclipse party.
That was amazing, and that's a testament to everybody really listening to our prevention messages that were out there, to Oregonians sharing that with our visitors, and we were really, really fortunate in that. But we just asked people not to let their guard down. You know.
But kudos to you, your office. Your office was a leader, I know, in getting the word out and getting it out weeks ago that this was a real concern.
And thanks to all the men and women with your department, firefighters all over, because you guys are away from your families for extended periods of time up in the mountains. So we appreciate everything that your crews do.
Very much so. Yeah.
Can I point out that Kathy kicked me about 60 seconds ago? I would probably say, "Are you going to ask a question?"
Yes,
here,
because I've never had a segment where you've not asked a question.
Are you okay?
In 35 seconds of the show, I haven't said a word. I was going to ask about the eclipse. Rod asked
I'm
beautifully.
sorry.
No, it's good.
Why don't you take the next transition from here?
You can ask about Warm Springs
that would be
because that's
hard.
another area where people head.
Wait a minute, that's a lot of information at once. What am I doing now? What do you want me to do? Do it for me, please.
Kanita area, Warm Springs, there had been the Nina fire.
Right.
Is that not a threat anymore?
That fire, they have gain containment on that. It's looking really good.
What's the number now? We were showing the fire map. Last time I counted a couple days ago, I think I counted 23 large fires in Oregon.
Wow.
Most of those I saw were on the east slope.
Oregon and Washington were around 24 fires.
Okay, all right.
Well, Tracy, thank you. I know that you guys have great information on the website, so we'll direct people there for more.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
Tracy.
you for having us on the show.